Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news, hey Falcons fans. Today we've got some really intriguing developments that could shake up the NFC South and honestly, have repercussions across the entire league. The Atlanta Falcons, always known for their resilience and strategic moves, have just made some significant roster adjustments that signal a lot about where this team might be headed. It's not just about signing new players, it's about the message that these moves send to the division, to the league, and most importantly to you, the passionate fans who follow this team through thick and thin. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the latest roster changes, the context behind these moves, and what it all means for the Falcons' 2024 season. The Falcons announced on Sunday that they've signed safety Ronnie Harrison Jr. and center Jake Hansen. Now, for those of you who follow the NFL closely, this isn't just a random signing. These are strategic moves, especially considering the recent injury scare that hit the Falcons hard during their preseason game against the Detroit Lions. Remember, folks, that game ended in a frightening fashion when safety Morris Norris sustained a serious injury that required emergency medical attention. Norris's injury was a stark reminder of how fragile football can be, and it prompted the Falcons to act quickly to bolster their squad, especially the secondary and offensive line, areas that are crucial for team stability and success. In response, the team made some roster adjustments. They released offensive lineman Michael Gonzalez and placed cornerback Grayland Arnold on the reserve injured list. These moves open up roster spots, and the additions of Harrison and Hansen are clearly aimed at increasing depth and experience, especially for a team that's still trying to find its rhythm after a somewhat inconsistent start to the preseason. But let's talk a bit more about these players, because both bring valuable experience and skill to the Falcons roster. Ronnie Harrison Jr., a 28-year-old safety, has quite the NFL journey. Drafted in the third round by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2018 out of the University of Alabama, Harrison has built a reputation as a versatile, hard-hitting safety. He spent 2 seasons with the Jaguars, showcasing his ability to read plays and make impactful tackles. Then he moved on to the Cleveland Browns, where he spent 3 seasons, further solidifying his role as a dependable defensive back. Most recently, he signed with the Indianapolis Colts, where he played in 2023 and into 2024, accumulating a total of 84 games played, with 48 starts. That's a wealth of experience, especially for a team like the Falcons, looking to shore up their secondary. Harrison has recorded 245 tackles in his career, along with 6.5 sacks, which is quite impressive for a safety. His 7 interceptions, including 2 that he returned for touchdowns, known as pick sixes, highlight his playmaking ability. He's also contributed with 25 pass breakups, demonstrating his skills in coverage. All of this points to a player who can bring leadership and stability to Atlanta's secondary, particularly as they face a division that's becoming increasingly competitive. The NFC South is no longer just a walk in the park, with teams like the Saints, Panthers, and Buccaneers all making moves. Every addition counts. On the offensive side, Jake Hansen adds depth to the Falcons' interior line. The 28-year-old center has experience with the New York Jets, where he played in 12 games and started 2 in 2024. His role was primarily in providing depth behind the starting center, Ryan Neuzil, and backup Javon Gwynn. Hansen's arrival is about reinforcing the offensive line, which has been a concern at times for Atlanta. Protecting quarterback Desmond Ridder and establishing a solid run game are fundamental if the Falcons want to take the next step in their offensive development. Hansen's experience of taking 103 offensive snaps and 45 on special teams last season reflects his versatility and readiness to step into action when needed. The Falcons' offensive line has been a work in progress, but with the addition of Hansen, they're trying to build a more resilient unit. capable of handling the physicality of the NFL. Especially considering the injuries and roster churn, having a veteran like Hansen provides much-needed stability and leadership along the line. Now, these moves come just days after the Falcons' first preseason game, which, as I mentioned earlier, was marred by that serious injury to Morris Norris. It's a stark reminder that, even in the preseason, the NFL is a tough, physical league. Injuries are part of the game, but they also serve as a wake-up call for teams to adapt quickly and strengthen their rosters accordingly. The Falcons are clearly responding to that call, and these signings are a clear indication that they're prioritizing depth and experience as they prepare for the regular season. Looking at the bigger picture, these roster adjustments fit into Atlanta's broader strategy for 2024. The Falcons have been building steadily over the last few seasons, focusing on developing young talent while adding veteran presence to key positions. The signing of Ronnie Harrison is a move that shows they're serious about strengthening their defense, especially after some inconsistent performances in previous seasons. His ability to not only defend, but also make game-changing plays fits well with the team's desire to create turnovers and control the game's tempo. Meanwhile, Jake Hansen's acquisition is about safeguarding the offensive line, which has been a concern for fans. Protecting Ritter and establishing a more consistent run game are vital if Atlanta wants to contend seriously for the division title or even a deep playoff run. The NFC South is wide open right now, with each team trying to find its identity and establish dominance. The Falcons, with their young core and strategic additions like these, are positioning themselves to be a formidable competitor. But it's not just about the players on the field. It's also about the mentality and culture the Falcons are trying to build. The team has shown resilience in recent years, bouncing back from tough seasons with a focus on improving fundamentals and fostering a competitive environment. The signing of experienced players like Harrison and Hansen signals a commitment to that philosophy, bringing in players who can contribute immediately and help mentor the younger guys. Of course, it's important to keep an eye on the health of the team, especially after the Norris injury. The Falcons' coaching staff and medical team will undoubtedly be working overtime to ensure their players are in the best shape possible and ready for the battles ahead. The NFC South is no joke. It's a division that's constantly evolving, and every team is looking for that edge, that spark to push them over the top. And let's not forget the fans. The Atlanta faithful are passionate, loyal, and always eager to see their team succeed. These roster moves, while strategic, also serve as a message of intent. The Falcons are serious about competing at the highest level. They want to make a statement that they're not just here to participate, but to contend and make a real push in 2024. The excitement is building, and with each move, the anticipation for the upcoming season grows. Now, just imagine the possibilities. With Harrison's playmaking ability in the secondary, the Falcons can create more turnovers and set up better field position for their offense. The added depth on the offensive line with Hansen means fewer sacks, more stability in the trenches, and hopefully, a more consistent offensive production. Desmond Ritter and the young receivers will have a better chance to develop chemistry if they have reliable protection and a defense that can keep opponents at bay. And speaking of Ritter, the progress he's shown in the preseason has been promising. The coaching staff has given him more opportunities to showcase his arm and decision-making, and the addition of experienced players around him is a big plus. The Falcons are positioning themselves for a balanced attack, a solid defense, a dynamic passing game, and a ground game that can punch through defenses when needed. It's the kind of recipe that can lead to wins, especially in close games where every play matters. Looking ahead, the NFC South is shaping up to be one of the most competitive divisions in recent memory. The Panthers are rebuilding, the Saints are always tough, and the Bucs are looking to bounce back after a rough season. The Falcons want to be right in the mix, and these roster moves are part of their plan to rise to the top. They are building a team that can adapt, that can fight through injuries, and that can compete at the highest level. Now, I know many of you are eager to see how these players will fit into the team's scheme and what kind of impact they'll have once the regular season kicks off. It's always exciting to see new faces in the Falcons' uniform, especially when they come with the experience and grit that Ronnie Harrison and Jake Hansen bring. Their veteran leadership could be just what the team needs to push past the hurdles and start building momentum toward playoff contention. And don't forget, the Falcons are also looking to develop their young talent, and these veteran additions serve as mentors and stabilizers. With Harrison's knack for creating turnovers and Hanson's stability on the offensive line, the team's overall confidence should get a boost. It's about creating that winning culture, and these moves are steps in that direction. The coaching staff is clearly focused on building a team that's prepared for the grind of the NFL season, physically, mentally, and strategically. So, as we get closer to the regular season, keep an eye on how these new players integrate into the team. Watch how Harrison's leadership on defense influences the secondary's performance, especially against division rivals who are always looking for ways to exploit weaknesses. Pay attention to Hanson's role in the offensive line. Can he help create the protection needed for Ritter to thrive? These are the questions that will be answered in the coming weeks, and I, for one, am eager to see how it all unfolds. In the broader context, these roster moves reflect a team that's actively trying to stay ahead of the curve. The NFC South is becoming more competitive, and the Falcons know they need to make strategic investments to stay relevant. With young stars like Ritter developing and veteran players stepping in to provide leadership, the foundation for a successful season is being laid. It's a thrilling time to be a Falcons fan, because every game, every play, every move counts toward that ultimate goal, reaching the playoffs and making a real run at the Super Bowl. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on these moves? Do you believe Ronnie Harrison's playmaking ability will be the key to tightening up the secondary? Are you confident that Jake Hanson can provide the stability needed on the offensive line? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons organization. Remember, this is a community, a family of die-hard fans who live and breathe everything Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and insights, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for our team. Go Falcons!